Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to the Akim, after on the four corner, teaching truth and sincerity. Alright, we have come upon a blessed holy day, um, um, which is the Passover, or the Pesach in Hebrew. You know, because this is the day that Yahweh Shemel Shai passed over the nation of Israel, you know, to get them out of the land of Egypt, you know, and I'm going to read, so like it, I'm going to read Exodus chapter 12, you know, and I'm going to read also Wisdom of Solomon chapter 18 just to catch both sides of the blessings and the curses that transpired on this day, you know. But this is a holy day unto us, you know, which are the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you know, that are in the know, and I'm gonna try to, you know, hit all the points. You know, if I miss something, Baba Kusha, you know, bear with me, you know, and I'm just going to jump straight into it. You know, all right. This is Exodus chapter 12, verse 1. It says, "And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of the month. It shall be the first month of the year to you." All right, and that's a bib, which is going to say that, but this is the beginning of spring. You know, this is where everything is renewed upon the earth. You know, verse 3, it says, "Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to according to the household of their fathers." You know, and the reason why it's according to the household of their fathers, because, you know, you are an Israelite by blood through the bloodline of your father. So if your father is an Israelite and his father before him is an Israelite, you are an Israelite. And this is something that you have to do, which is the Passover, in order to keep Yahweh Shemel Shai's covenant. Okay? I'm going to continue on. Verse 4, it says, "And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next to him, next to his house, take it according to the number of the souls, every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb." All right, because you are your brother's keeper, and if your household is too small, you know, you go to your neighbor. All right, because your neighbor is your brother, which disproves that your neighbor isn't the man. It isn't, you know, whoever's next to you. It's an Israelite of the same coast, because we're not supposed to do this with the heathen. We're only supposed to do this with our like kind, which are your so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, you know, which is the whole 12 tribes, you know. But continuing on, it says, "Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats," you know, whichever one you have, either lambs or goats. Okay? All right, verse 6, it says, "And ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, and the holy assembly." Salakia. I'll read that again. This is verse 4. It says, and if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto him, unto his household, take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account up for the lamb. It says, your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep and from the goats. It says, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening, and they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two doorposts, of the house therein. They shall eat it. So it's like of the house therein. It says, wherein they shall eat it. All right, because they are blessing that household. So whenever Yahweh Shemi Shai passes over it, he can see the blood and not go into it and spite the firstborn, because this was a fearful time. Jake was afraid. We weren't partying. We weren't at the strip club. We weren't, going out, laying with our women. We were in a serious mindset, and it was all through the strength and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai that these things, had to come about in this proper way, in this proper order. So when these things came about, this is how we must, keep it. All right, verse 8, it says, and they shall eat the flesh in that night, roasted with fire in unleavened bread, and with a bitter herb they shall eat it. All right, so they're going to consume it. But continuing on, it says, eat not of it raw. Eat not of it raw, because we're supposed to, as Israelites, cook our meat thoroughly. There should be any pink, or kind of pink, in none of our foods, because it should never be raw. It says, nor soldered, at all with water. That means boiled. All right, because this is a holy conversation. The Most High is saying something directly to the people, that they conduct themselves in this proper way. Okay. It says, but roasted with fire, his head with his legs, all right, and with the it's like a prudence thereof. So the whole thing, all right. We're supposed to do this. This is the law that was put out for us to do. All right. Continuing on, it says, and ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning. So you're supposed to eat it, but you're not supposed to let it remain at all until the morning. Because you're supposed to either burn it, or throw it away. Which in these times, we can't even keep, this 100%. Judges 5 and 11. We're supposed to rehearse the righteous acts in places with drawn water. So in the midst of our captivity, which Jacob has been in captivity, so long, that if we didn't have the holy book of the law, this custom would be done away with, you know, uh, and no one would be able to keep it. But because Yahweh Shemi Shai has mercy upon His elect, we are able to keep these righteous sayings from times past. Okay, continuing on. Verse 11, it says, "And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand." All right, because we were doing this in haste. We didn't have time to sit and flavor our food like the way we wanted with the onions and the garlic. All right, it was, hey, get the lamb, salt and pepper that thing, or salt that thing, because we probably didn't even have pepper at that time. All right, salt it, and eat it in haste. All right, eat the bread in haste. Eat the bitter herb, which is, signifies the suffering that we had to go through in Egypt, like in times matter in today's time, because we're trying to get out of Babylon the same way, all right? But this time we're going to be called up instead of walking out. But so continuing on, verse 11, and thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is Yahweh Shemi Shai's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both men and beasts, and against all the gods, of Egypt, which they aren't gods, in the land of Egypt. Continuing on, it says, I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh Shemi Shai. Alright? Because one, Yahweh Shemi Shai was tired of his people going off. But 2/3 are going to have to be cut off and die, as it says in that Zechariah chapter 13. But this is something that he made this covenant with righteous men. He made this covenant with the men that sought after him. Because even in Egypt's time, the Most High separated the elect from the wicked doers. But I'm gonna jump to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, and read the other side, the wicked side, and it'll go into it. Baba Kusha. I'm gonna start at verse 9. It says, because this is Aaron and Moses that made this decree through Yahweh Shemi Shai. All right. It says, for the righteous children of good men did sacrifice secretly, and with one consent made a holy law, that the saints should be like partakers of the same good and evil. Alright, so the good is the ones that were saved and delivered, and the evil are the ones that did not do the will of Yahweh Shemi Shai, and they were smitten with the enemy, which was the Egyptians at that time, just like in these times coming up. But yet, I have a precept. Baba Kushai, let me finish this part right here. It says, for the fathers now sing out the song of praise. All right, and the fathers are the ones that are back again today, singing out the same song of praise that has been brought out through every incarnation of their incarnations. All right, because the spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets, and the prophets are still, bringing out the word until this day. Okay, so I'm gonna jump to I think it's Zechariah chapter 2, verse uh, verse 8. It says, For thus saith Yahweh by Shemel Shai of hosts. It says, after the glory hath he sent me, unto the nation which spoiled you. All right, for he that touches you touches the apple of of Yahweh Shemel Shai's eye, because just like Egypt had us in captivity, and you can go back and read through that. They were killing our babies, to drop down our population because we were growing too far in number unto them that we might overtake them, and they were afraid. All right, because Yahweh Shemel Shai, told us to be fruitful and multiply, and that's what the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, goes into. If you start up at 6, how they were killing our children, but Yahweh Shemel Shai came to deliver us out of there through his prophet Moses. All right, and but I'll continue reading. It says, "For behold, I will sack." So like it. For behold, I will shake mine hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And ye shall know that Yahweh Shemel Shai of armies of hosts hath sent me. Because the other nations know that whenever we go off, they can overtake us. Whenever we go off against our power. And you can read that in that Judith chapter 5, verse 19, or 18, 19, starting there, But it's just like in today's time, they caused us to go off, as it says in that Jeremiah chapter 51, 50 verse 7, they cause us to go off. Because whenever we're separated from our power, we are nothing. But whenever Yahweh Shemel Shai turns back and looks at us and sees Yahweh Shai upon the elect, as it says in that Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3, starting at the top on down to verse 9, shows that whenever our power is with us, no one can be against us. All right, but I'm going to continue on in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 18. I'm going to start back at verse 10. It says, because this is the other side. All right, the first 9 was talking about the elect and the righteous and how they would be called up and delivered. But verse 10, it says, but on the other side there sounded a ill according cry of the enemy, and a lamentable noise was carried abroad from children, and were bewailed. All right, because that death angel came. That death angel came and done away with those heathens and maimed those wicked niggas. But I'm gonna continue on. Verse 11. It says, the master and the servant were punished after one manner, and like as the king, so suffered the common person. All right, so if the Pharaoh got it, the lowliest dude on the totem pole got it too. All right, because Yahweh Shemel Shai is not a respecter of person. All right, for verse 12 it says, so they all together had innumerable dead, which is the firstborn, the firstborn, with one kind of death. Because there was that death angel that came by and smitten everybody that didn't have the blood on their doors, because that covenant was only given unto the Israelites and the elect of those Israelites. Because Jake was getting it too, those ones that didn't believe in Yahweh Shemel Shai, or distrusted him, or fallen into the ways of believing in their captives. instead of believing in their power. All right, and it's the same thing that's going to happen in these times. Those ones that took the wicked Kool-Aid, those ones that are going to get the MOTB, they're going to have to receive this same judgment whenever that death angel passes through, like in that Lamentations chapter 2 verse 3. All right, whenever Yahweh Shimei Shai fought against Israel like an angry man of war. All right, and I'm going to continue on. Verse 12, it says, so they all, verse 13, it says, for whereas they would not be, for whereas they would not believe anything by reason of the enchantments upon the destruction of the firstborn, they acknowledged this people to be the sons of Yahweh Shemel Shai. So even the heathen was like, okay, y'all are the sons of God. Y'all are Yasharallah, the princes of the power. And that's why Pharaoh, was shooken in his heart to release us, at that time. Because, I'm going to drop down to verse 15. It says, because this is that death angel that came to get him. All right, verse 15, it says, then thine almighty word leaped down from heaven out of the royal throne as a fierce man of war into the midst of the land of destruction. All right, and in the midst of that land of destruction was Egypt at that time, but it's not Babylon the Great in that like same manner. All right, are they not going to catch that smoke in that like same manner? All right, going back up to verse 16, it says, and brought thine unformed word, it's like a unforeign commandment as a sharp sword, and standing up filled all things with death, and it touched the heavens, but it stood upon the earth. All right, so just like it did in Egypt, it's going to be the same manner in these times to come. But yeah, Khan. So actually, I'm gonna pull one more precept because this shows that Yahweh Shemel Shai has been with us this whole time. I'm gonna pull that Sirach chapter 34. I'm gonna start at verse 13 because actually verse 12 because whenever we don't have Yahweh Shemel Shai, or whenever we are stuck in fear of this world, it leads unto death. But as you know, by this time that is coming, which is the Passover, which is a promise that he gave unto Moses and Aaron for our sakes, and he said for us to keep it in all our generations, even until this day. So through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, he has been protecting us this whole time since our existence. And you can read about that in Ecclesiasticus chapter 17, because that's a beautiful chapter in itself. All right, but this is going to lead to our salvation in these times. We just need to have faith according to what Yahweh Shemel Shai has done for us. All right, it says Ecclesiasticus chapter 34 verse 12. It says, I was oftentimes in danger of death, yet I was delivered because of these things, because we have faith in Yahweh Shemel Shai. Verse 13, it says, the spirit of those that feareth Yahweh Shemel Shai shall live, for their hope is in him that saveth them, because he has saved us throughout all of our lives for us to be here in this point to give praises, honor, and glory unto him, as it says in the Ecclesiasticus chapter 17, verse 13, for us to give praises and glory unto him and to glorify his righteous acts. All right, verse 14, it says, whoso feareth Yahweh Shemel Shai shall not fear nor be afraid. All right, so we're not going to fear nor be afraid of the things that's going to come upon us. All right, because we're going to stand bold as a lion, because Yahweh Shemel Shai is on our side, like Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego did, whenever they were thrown into the fire. Hell, whenever they came out that fire, they didn't even have any burn marks on their clothes because they were with Yahushua, who was that fourth individual that was in the fire with him. Okay? Verse 14, it says, "Whoso feareth Yahweh Shai shall not be afraid." It says, "For he is his hope." That's our hope. That's our desire. All right. Verse 15, it says, "Blessed is the soul of him that feareth Yahweh Shai, to whom doeth he look." All right. We look unto our Father because He's coming to deliver us. All right. And who is His strength? All right. Yahweh Shai. He Prince Power. All right. Yahweh Shai, which is our salvation. All right, because He's coming to deliver us, as it says in Matthew chapter 1 verse 21. "For she shall bring forth a son, and she shall call his name Yahushua, for he shall save his people from their sins." All right, because only we can sin, because only we were given the book of the law. All right, and if a man didn't keep the Passover, he was cut out of the whole nation of Israel. All right, he was put in squalor. All right. Verse 15, it says, "Blessed is the soul of him that feareth Yahweh Shai." It says, "To whom doeth he look, and who is his strength?" Verse 16, it says, For the eyes of Yahweh Shai are upon them that love him." And if you love him, that's actually reverencing or fearing him, as it says in Ecclesiastes 25, verse 10 through 12. All right? I would pull it, but hey, I'm just going to quote it. And Baba Kushai would suggest brothers go and look it up. Okay? Verse 16 again, it says, "For the eyes of Yahweh Shai are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection and strong stay." All right, a defense from the heat, and that's those thermonuclear missiles. Yahweh Shai is going to defend us just like He did Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, because whenever they was in that heat, they didn't feel anything, but people around them was bursting in flames. All right, a defense from the heat and a cover from the sun at noon. All right, we're not going to feel none of that, as it says in that Psalms chapter 91. All right, this is how Yahweh Shai is our defense. All right, you can go and read Ecclesiastes chapter 51. All right, and that's a beautiful chapter to read, and it really invigorates me every time I read it, because I know Yahweh Shai is my protector. All right, and just like He's the protector of every brother and every man that goes out in the highways and byways and proclaims His name. All right. It says a preservation from stumbling and in help from falling. All right, because He's not going to let you stumble or let you dash your foot on a rock so you fall. All right, Yahweh Shai is going to be there for you. All right. And just like He was there for us during the Passover, and whenever we were in the desert wandering around for 40 years, for Him to weed out those wicked ass motherfuckers that was in there, all right, to come into the land of milk and honey and do the righteous acts, because we were supposed to do it then, but we had wicked ass Jake that was in there that was messing shit up because they did not want to follow Yahweh Shai in all His ways. But now it's the time. This season is almost over. The kingdom of heaven is coming. It is here. All right? It's in you. The kingdom of heaven is in you. Matthew chapter 13, verse 11. And He said unto them, "It's given unto you to know the mysteries in the kingdom of heaven. Unto them it is not given." All right? It's given unto you. So if you have this word in your hand and you have this knowledge in your heart, which is your la'ab, your mind, all right, go out there and preach. Do your due diligence to do the will, strength, and power of Yahweh Shai to the best of your capability. All right? And you will be rewarded handsomely. All right. Call hello, Yamali, how about Shimmy Al Shai? Hey, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get ready. Hey, with that, I'm going to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh by Shimmy Al Shai. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and salutations to the Akim, my thunder, four corner teaching and truth and sincerity. Shalom and shalom.